song. So yay.
Fair enough. All right, we are now
Keep
live.
me in check too.
Okay. Now I just gotta watch for YouTube to start showing it, but yeah, theoretically we're live.
In theory.
Like I said, I'm just waiting for YouTube to confirm it for me because I'm rusty on this. There we are. So, I'm just a disclaimer up front. I am fucking terrified for this because of everything that friends of mine, one of whom is in this call, have led me to believe. I am to be absolutely eager and excited to look forward to this. And from what I've been listening for the last 5 minutes, I am already like, oh god, I better make sure I'm ready to go to the ER soon.
That's very likely.
But immediate medical attention needed, more likely than you think.
Oh yeah, because I'm not looking forward to, or sorry, I am not like going to be expecting you to be giving me medical attention, Aiden, especially for, first of all, you're like 9 hours away from me. Second of all, I have not seen you in months, so...
Better pray he runs fast and brushes his teeth.
Oh, God. Okay, you know what? I'm starting this. Welcome, everybody, to Gab Hominem. I am Andrew William, your host. My co-host for the first time in months is showing up, Aiden Halicus.
Hello. What's up, everybody?
And as I've mentioned just a moment ago, the guest that I have been told to look forward to for a long time, and just now having my first chance to interact with them, Cycoriot. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone.
Now, as I said, friends of mine have been telling me this is going to be such a fun, it's supposed to be an experience interacting with you. According to Aiden, according to my friend Cuppy Cakes, I'm led to believe you know them as well.
I do. Yeah.
So this is gonna be a very interesting episode for me, and with people who have been watching this show for a while, you've been going. So, what does Cycoriot do that's in the entertainment realm? Well, Cyco does first and foremost art, digital art mostly. I think you also do some small podcasts and voice acting. I think.
We do improv streams, though we moved away from that and switched over to mostly gaming stuff. Things in that department.
Fair enough. And there's another thing you're doing apparently that we're going to be talking about later, according to you saying you had to talk with Paranoid DJ, I believe. So this is going to be a fun episode, and given that you're an artist and Aiden also is a digital artist, he's done, some work for me in the past, I think there's going to be a lot to...
I'm so sorry.
Oh, there's definitely...
I'm going to start apologizing to your commission clients now, Ryan. I'm going to have to make that a part of my...
Yeah, apologize that you're not me. Just kidding.
Damn.
I love you.
I love this energy already. So there's definitely going to be a lot to learn from this. So speaking of learning, let's start with the main question that I always start with all of my guests. This is going to be up to you. You share as much as you feel comfortable with.
I will.
Where are you from, and what kind of experiences the places you've been to, lived in, have contributed to who you are now? I love that laugh. This is going to be good.
Okay, so...
Oh, boy.
Being that I don't live in that city anymore, I was born and raised in Ohio. Still in Ohio. Cleveland kid.
Oh.
And, yeah. So, let me get my professional hat on here.
Take your time.
I fucking hate Ohio. Okay, it's not the worst. It's really not. Why I hate it, I mean, as a kid, you hate it. Everybody's telling you it's like, there's nothing to do, and you're just made of corn and lies. But, God, especially when you're in the suburbs outside, first off, the grunge scene is immaculate. There's goth clubs. If you go into the city, there's so much urbex to do. You can for a charity stream a couple months back, I literally went tagging in this
Oh.
fucking observatory. It was beautiful. It was completely trashed, though. It's been a tagging spot for years. It was made in like the 20s, I think. Anyway,
Huh.
you know, when you're a kid in Ohio, first off, not a lot of friends growing up, just because I was that edgy kid. And so what do you do when you're surrounded by nothing but old people and junk like that? You set stuff on fire and you draw.
Absolutely. I was gonna go with arson, but that also works.
I mean, arson and setting things on fire go hand in hand. They're the same
Arson and artistry.
freaking thing.
Oh my god, yeah. There's one of the guests that I've had on the show a long time ago, Hellboy.
Yeah.
He also lives in Ohio, and he describes the place he lives in as, quote, cornfuck Ohio.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's probably out and like, there's this godless expanse between Cleveland and Columbus that like, you could drive through it a million times, it'll look the same, and yet you'll have never been there in your life. Like, read through one of those Tumblr gothic drabbles about it, it's not wrong.
What is it, like driving through a liminal space?
Yeah, like, a grocery store from the 1960s that's open, but nobody's there.
The back rooms are just in Ohio. That's just where they are.
Beef jerky's from the Mesozoic era.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, yeah, because he says there's like Ohio is either one of three different kind of like environments. It's either the big cities like Cleveland or Columbus, the ghettos, or shitloads of cornfields. And he's like,
is both.
Yeah, he tends to be between, I think, two or all three of them.
Yeah. So parts of Cleveland look like they stopped, like they just stopped. Like somebody picked them up and pulled them out in the 1960s and let them decay. Other parts look like what you'd see an 80s movie, like the streets of the Bronx looking like. Like, I shit you not, all it's missing is, actually, it's not missing the punk kids at all. Never mind.
Basically, Ohio is like a really cheap museum in a small town. Just America.
Oh,
it is America's cheap museum.
It's a 5-minute drive from buildings crumbling, like literally just melting in on themselves. You ever seen a building melt? It's impressive.
I have
It
no.
is very impressive.
They're just curving in on themselves. You drive 5 minutes past that beautiful college district, modern art, everything's clean, and you're gonna die if you try to cross the street to get to the ramen shop because some hungry hipster is gonna try to mow your ass down. Done.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because everybody else can move between those two districts just as fast as you can. So,
And they will.
And they fucking will.
The weak are killed and eaten out here.
They have legs and they're not afraid to use them.
Philly in chat is asking, is Robert the doll there?
Robert isn't. Did Robert come from? Wait a minute. I don't know my own lore. I'm leaving the stream.
Shit. I found the one question.
God damn it, Philly. I'm so used to you being in chat too, and yet you hit me with this. Yeah, no, I've never met Robert the doll personally. I hear he's a jackass, so.
Case Western University Hospital, according to Akuma the Good Oni. That's supposed to be an oxymoron.
I'm pretty positive they don't keep Robert the doll at the university hospitals, though they did have me there for a couple months when I was 10 for appendicitis.
Ooh.
Those poor nurses.
Isn't that a painful experience?
Yeah, mine ruptured in sections.
Ooh.
So, like, they took the time to heal me, get every drop of fucking money they could out of my grandparents, and then how? Then they took it out after they healed it.
Oh.
What was the
So
point?
wait, your appendix really said scatter, and then they put it back together and took it out?
Yeah, they did that. They even gave me an IV that went all the way to my heart. I couldn't go to recess for like a couple weeks. Really hated that.
Damn.
I guess
Really
your small
hated that.
intestines called the cops or something. It's like,
Oh, the best part was when they took the IV out. This isn't going to be graphic, I promise. Everybody in the chat just
oh, it's
take
going
a
to be
breath.
graphic, guys. Brace yourself.
Shut the frick up. Okay, so the nurse is like, okay, we're gonna take your PICC line out, and it was in my upper arm, and I was like, okay. So I felt her pulling off the Band-Aid, and I was like, tell me when you've taken it out. And then she's like, it's out. And I look at her and I go, oh, is it? And my face turns white as a sheet, and I just go down.
Oh.
Boom. Oh, is it? I was gone.
When your appendix is a flash mob in a bottle.
It's basically my entire existence.
True. Shit, I was relating to that. God. Same brain cell. Fuck.
Oh my god. Oh
God
my
damn.
god.
Because there's only one between the two of us, buddy.
How far
Really?
in
Yeah, Mom
are
said
we?
it was my turn, God damn it.
Only 10 minutes.
10 minutes
I'm so
in.
sorry.
Oh my god, I am... Oh, fuck.
Regretting it heavily?
I regret nothing, bitch. Okay?
Crying? Wetting your whittle pants?
That last part definitely applying right now, god damn it.
Somebody get this guy a mop.
Fuck.
Cut! I'm allowed to say cut, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can say
sure, it's not a... I mean, this whole thing is staying up as a video afterward, and I don't do any editing with these unless it's a pre-recorded deal, so...
Cut. Yay. Let's go. Whose turn
I
on
think
the
that's
Xbox?
protected under free speech.
Oh my god. Jesus. Okay, so, you're from Ohio, born and raised. Now, what kind of things...
As
have
our
you-
In the
most
cornfields is where they spent most of their days.
What? I am going to strangle you the next time I see you, Aiden.
Don't he'll love it!
Damn it, you're right.
Stop stealing the words from my mouth. Do this every time we
Oh
talk.
no! Oh no!
God,
Ark, you're gonna give him everything he ever wanted. How could you do this?
Fulfill my wildest
Aiden's
dreams.
lity melting over his chaise right now.
You're encouraging me.
No, please don't. No, wait, please don't. I can't do Aiden.
I got it.
Please
like,
don't choke me, Ark. Please don't choke me.
I'm pretty sure I gave him breathing problems anyway. I still gave him cigars at some point.
Wait, breathing problems? I don't know.
I heard that too.
Oh my god.
Great, the VOD's trash. And the stream started over. Take two.
I wasn't expecting a pregnancy scare today, but
Damn it.
I have space in my schedule. It's okay. I can make it work.
We weren't expecting one. I got in this call like 20 minutes ago.
Oh fuck! I forgot you were here. God damn. That's why Mom should let me have the brain cell more often.
And here I spent some of that time going to bother Infamous in another fucking server, so...
Oh, you're doing some of the Lord's work for me. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so, how long have you been doing art, Cyco?
Oh god. So, this is a short story. Been doing art my whole life. I stopped when I moved out at 18. Like, I did traditional art. I used to have a comic. I used to do art for a comic that was actually published in a magazine.
Huh.
And then I just stopped one day for like, I kid you not, 7 years. And then, and I had an iPad Pro laying around. Never really touched it. You know, I was like, I can roleplay on Discord. But that's about it. And then I started writing with my friends. I started like getting into Has-Been, a couple things like that. And then I realized my favorite ship had no art. This is going to be a real anticlimactic story. You know where I'm going with that. There was no pen cherry art. I didn't have money to commission other people. So I said, fuck you, I'm going to learn how to draw. 2 years later, and my art is the thumbnail. I mean, you can see where I was to that. And it was such a big difference. Like, I would draw for 12, like up to 12 hours a day. I mean, I was skipping meals. I am not a role model.
Good lord.
Yeah, I would be forgetting to eat. I would be like not sleeping. I would just be obsessing into my tablet, trying to make my hands work. And you know what? I don't regret it. My hands might, but I don't.
I mean, hey, it's dedication.
My relationship suffered. Everybody got through it alive, okay? We're good.
Well,
No deaths.
That's
Nobody
good.
died in the making of this. Goo. No one died in the making of this bitch.
Speaking of which, your art, I think, is the main reason I've developed a thing for goo girls at this point.
Oh yeah, I do that with people for slime and cherry bomb.
no one is immune to propaganda.
Slime and cyclopses. Let's go.
All hail the party of goo. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
The party giveth, and the party continue to giveth.
You just, like, slightly confuse me, Aiden, when you say goo, because, like, I've been sort of in the reptile scene for the last few years, and when people tell me, you know, this is a goo, my first thought is a tegu lizard.
Oh, like a Tegu with the fat cheeks, man. Those are adorable.
Very
my-
cute.
I got a ball
Little guys.
python.
I've got this friend. I go over to his house every other Friday to run a game of. It's Starfinder, but it's easier if I just say it's D&D.
Okay, so
and-
Starfinder, but you're LARPing with your friends.
Yes.
It's but he has. I don't remember if he has 1 or 2 Tegu lizards, and
Oh, shoot.
one of them is always
Lucky.
out there with them. Every time I show up at the house, they're always like laying on his girlfriend's chest or on his shoulders, just hanging around.
They're sweet, lazy things. But by God, let nobody in the chat be confused. Those little bastards can deglove you
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
I've seen him with some
bastards.
like healing, like not really scars. They're not like deep cuts, but like you know how you can scratch your flesh with your fingernails and it'll leave this like sort of line.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, that's what I've seen for the most part.
Welts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Welts,
that's the
raised
word.
abrasions.
From the claws. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Yeah, and the worst part is the bacteria in their mouths, too. If you do
Ooh.
get bit,
Mhm.
wash that out. You will get gangrene.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Lizards are nasty.
I've got 2 leopard geckos, and that's about the extent to which I'm going with that.
I have a ball python, and I gave myself salmonella by being a careless pet owner because, man, snakes are dirty. I was handling her. She's a sweet girl. Her name is Annabelle, and she's a rescue.
Oh,
Fat as all hell. Anyway, I was handling her, and then I put her back in her tank, and me being the stupid, edgy pet owner I am, I'm like, it's a snake, who cares? I'd pet my cat and make a sandwich. By God, I regretted that. I didn't wash my hands, ate food, got salmonella, cried for 2 days.
Any egg-laying animal, you can't.
Oh, I
you
thought
can't
you were
fuck
going
with
a
that shit.
completely different direction with that. I was like, don't you fucking out me on this stream. Get out. You were born drunk.
He's Greek. What else did you expect?
I mean, I am also, like,
No expectations.
not as full-bloodied as him, but...
Oh my God. Okay, so yes, few years of doing art again. Developed apparently a propaganda thing of getting people into Goo Girls.
And Cyclopses.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of your art recently has been of Cherry Bomb, and for a while I've been having this thing of like not really talking about Has-Been because everybody and their mother and their fucking dogs have talked about Has-Been at this point.
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna be brought up quite a bit in this episode because a lot of your art has been recently recently
The line, he said the name.
He said it, guys. He said it. Roll credits.
as of late a lot of your art has been a lot of Cherry, and I'm just like, this is a lot of really good art of a character I didn't really think I would have that much of a thing for until now. So
She is underappreciated.
She's been radicalized.
Which
I sleep on a
been
mattress.
radicalized.
Everyone else sleeps on cherry bombs.
Absolutely.
the sort of ironic thing for me is my first ever guests on this show, before it was called Gab Hominem, was Crystal Laporte and Chris Ayers.
I love Crystal and Chris came to my birthday like a year and a half ago.
Oh.
Rest in peace. And Crystal is such a good friend. Like, she's so sweet.
Crystal is
I
an
talk to her
absolute
a
sweetheart.
lot.
I've heard nothing but good things.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
She's wonderful.
It was
that was an amazing experience as well. That was the first. That was the first episode, wasn't it?
That was the very first episode I did, because what had happened was they were trying to get the GoFundMe out there for people to help out, and so what I did is I took a weekend that I had free, and I just did a 24 consecutive hour stream on Twitch, trying to every game of Rainbow Six Siege and whatever the game I was in at the time. I always put in a link to the GoFundMe, like trying to get people to go and look at it. And then after it was done, I, slept for like a good 12 hours, something like that.
Oh, bet, yeah.
And
that
then,
first stream was my fucking dumpy in a fucking black leather car seat with no air conditioning in the sweltering fucking California heat, just on the call for like an hour and a half.
and I think that was with Yoon, I think.
Oh yeah, no, that was later. That one I was at
Was it?
home.
Shit.
This one I was in my car. I remember distinctly. because I was steadily getting more dehydrated as time goes on. I was like a sponge, just drying up and shriveling into a fucking hush.
You were in the process of moving, I think. Wasn't that the
Just
reason?
losing all my lubricant, huh?
You were in the process of moving. Wasn't that the reason why you did that?
I was just out that day doing shit, but all I remember was still feeling comfortable around both of them. They're just both such nice people.
Oh, yeah.
Their auras are like unmatchably
Literally.
sweet. I've never met a person who was truly without like any kind of malice in my life.
I couldn't feel anxious around them. Like, my brain tried, and it couldn't convince me that there was anything to be nervous about, even as I was actively having vignetted vision from heat stroke. Like, you know, I was drier than the fucking Sahara Desert, and
what else is new, baby?
Yeah. Don't threaten me with a good time. No.
That was definitely one of the things. Is like, it was an absolute experience talking to the both of them, because this was a little bit after Chris had the lung transplant, and he was in the process of the recovery. And unfortunately, the internet they were using at the time was the hotel that they were staying at, and it was.
I remember that.
It was dog shit internet. Like, for a good well over half of the episode, all of the responses were a good 3-6 second long delay between my questions and their responses, and it finally rectified after they had to disconnect and reconnect later on. But still, even with all that, there was so much to learn from the both of them, and just talking with them, I went, this was a really fun and fulfilling experience just talking with these two. Who else, what else could I learn from all this, and why would I not have an opportunity for other people to learn alongside me with this? So they're the reason that I do this show. So and so it's the reason that I have you, Cyco, on this show as well, because you do art. And it's a lot of art that I really enjoy looking at whenever you do put up something new. And, it's, for me, it's only a little bit ironic that a lot of it as of late has been of Cherry Bomb, voiced by Crystal, who was the first person I talked to. So it's, I guess in a way,
it's come full circle.
Yeah, it's come full circle.
Propaganda, Crystal Laporte, Cherry Bomb, we're right back where we started. Except where...
Oh, yeah.
So... that'll go to a couple. I guess a couple other questions that I've got that'll go generally into the art and illustration scene. You do commissions I think every now and then.
Yeah, I do open them up on occasion. It's just I haven't opened them publicly in over a year because I get sniped in the DMs so fast.
Ooh.
So fast.
Yeah, that tends to be one of the things I've noticed, because ever since I got into Has-Been, and it got me into the Insanimators that Aiden and I are both a part of, ever since getting into that, I have been following a lot of digital artists on Twitter. And it with some of the things that they share with people trying to commission them, I go, wow, there are actually people like this.
No. Crazy.
I start to wonder how, never mind how bad it gets, how often do you, at least in your experience, how often do you get people that are like that in your commissions?
So over the years, I've gotten real good at reading people's tone in text and knowing what to pick up on behavior-wise. So it has not gotten that far in a while. Thankfully, a lot of my commissions these days tend to get snapped up by close friends who've commissioned me before, because they check in periodically and they're like, are they open yet? And I'm like, do you want one? So nothing terrible, actually, thankfully.
As of yet, but
listen.
Let's not
invite that.
Come on.
I don't have any wood to knock on. Aiden's in California.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Yeah, I'll do it for you. Here we go. All right.
I don't hear a hollow thunk, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, I keep it solid.
Is it actual wood, or is it that like IKEA plastic looking like wood?
Oh, you wish it
Sure,
was
let's go with
either of
that.
those things.
Yeah, let's go with that.
So that goes into another question.
Family
sort of.
friendly.
What generally, like, because I've seen other artists do commissions on like a very sporadic or longly periodic period. You know, it's like there will be a few months before they open their commissions. In some cases, like a year or even 2 or more before they open commissions. At least in your experience, what tends to like be the general reason for that? Just so people can kind of like understand why.
Okay. I've been experiencing this quite a bit, and a lot of artists who I've run into have. I've had this conversation with a couple of people. So what ends up happening is you end up getting a little bit behind on your queue, especially for artists who are real nervous about like, well, where's my next paycheck going to come from? Or they really rely on that, and it almost hits like a shoestring budget. Anyway, so what you end up doing is you end up getting real bad anxiety. And God, we all have anxiety, but this is the kind of anxiety where you wake up, you try to make a plan for the day, and if any one thing fucks up your shui, you basically just want to go to bed and restart. You're like, I was going to do this. Like, your mom comes in. I don't live with my parents, but one of my friends does. You know, your mom comes in. They're like, hey, I know you're about to sit down and do your work that you had to mentally prepare for because it starts to feel like a mountain.
Right.
And so here's where the actual problem comes in. You start depriving yourself of things until you get your work done. You start like inadvertently and absentmindedly negatively reinforcing yourself. You're like, I'll eat after I finish this work. And you can't do that to yourself because I'm going to be real with you. A lot of artists are not like mentally normal. There are not a lot of like neurotypical artists, especially not in this community, especially not in the indie community. And whether you're on the spectrum, whether you have ADHD, I have ADHD and I'm schizoaffective. And you start, like I said, negatively reinforcing yourself, and your brain is like a toddler. And you know, if you tell a toddler like they can't have something, then you're just gonna want to shut down. And when you shut down, how are you supposed to be creative? Your income depends on you being able to feel good enough to let something like come out of your brain onto paper and translate something that doesn't even exist. It's intangible entirely. And you have to have a good environment for that. And so, yeah, you start depriving yourself. You're like, I'll eat after that. And then you're sitting there thinking, oh, I'm hungry. And then you're getting distracted. And then the work is stressing you out. And it becomes like almost triggering.
It's like,
And
wait,
it's
my
a
income
cycle.
depends on me being creative. Wait, fuck, my income depends on me being creative. Fuck, my income depends on me being creative. And now you've completely sabotaged yourself.
You don't have a boss that's gonna say, come in here at 6 a.m., do this and leave at 7. No, you have to boss yourself. And you have to have discipline to do this, especially if you want to make a living off it. It's so hard to motivate yourself, and some days any little thing that's wrong with your mood, it's going to affect what comes out of your hands. Like the difference between the cherries that you've seen me drawing, like the pretty ones from Procreate where she's in her little crop tops and stuff, versus like ones I've drawn on a bad day where it's like feathered and scratchy, and you can see in my penmanship that I am upset, and you cannot justify giving a commissioner something like that. So you put it off, and then the longer you put it off, well, your bills are getting due, and you're holding off, and and then you're more anxious, and then it's harder to work. So you need to stop depriving yourself. If you want to draw something and you know you have work to do, you need to do both at the same time. It's like when you were a kid in school and you would doodle on the corner of the paper while the teacher was explaining something to you, and you would retain it better that way. And as adults, we forget to let ourselves like, you can't just put on a YouTube video. If there's something you want to do, you have to do a little bit of both at the same time.
Yeah.
At least start the work. It helps so freaking much. Go get your food first and let yourself have a day off once in a while, but don't get overzealous about it because you're going to start making excuses and then really fucking off.
There is definitely a mutual friend of mine and Aiden's in, something we're both a part of. We constantly have to tell this friend, go eat something. And they will tell us, like,
Yep.
they don't get sleep. They're constantly anxious and nervous about shit, that's happening around them. Like, it's, this vent art that you do is really creative. And there's a lot that, like, it shows. But we've also seen your art go, it looks really good when they do, when they're in that headspace to do something good. But again, it's that sort of self-sabotaging thing, I guess, in a way, at least, because outside of their vent art, it, like I said, it looks really good. But then you get into calls with them, and they're constantly saying, I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep or no sleep in the last 48 hours.
You start to wear it as like a status symbol too.
Oh,
And
hearing them
there's like that, yeah.
hearing them talk about, like, the only thing they've had is, was it a Monster that they drink, or some kind of canned energy drink?
I don't remember.
Monster, Rockstar, Full Throttle. I've been smashing
Bang.
pre-workout, honestly.
God.
Like,
You
I
forgot
get
Red
it.
Bull. How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you forget Red Bull?
That's for me, that part especially is fucking terrifying, because there was a good friend of mine back in my community college days, early 20s. Like, I'm 30. This was years ago. I was sitting around at home, because I didn't have to go to class that day, playing Smite. And then I get a message on Facebook saying, he just collapsed out of his chair in the student lounge.
oh my god.
And then a couple hours
Stress?
later, I'm told that he passed away.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
And
again, stress? Question mark?
the one thing that we constantly told this guy for basically as long as we've known him, you need to stop drinking those canned energy drinks. And he would mix them.
Oh yeah,
He
caffeine
would-
is
he would mix Full Throttle, Redline, Monster, all those things. And we was like, that's going to kill you. And it eventually did.
yeah, little food for thought for anybody in the chat who doesn't know. Caffeine has a half-life in your body, and you get that initial burst of energy, but it does not leave your body. It actually goes dormant, and then when you're starting to feel that drag from your physical exhaustion and you put more in there, it's so cumulative and it's so bad. It's bad for your heart, it's bad for your kidneys, and I mean, I've given myself a tick that lasted months before when I used to be real heavy on the energy drinks. My eyelid would twitch. I had muscle spasms, and God, I was manic as hell.
Because caffeine, it handles like radiation, like a fucking radioactive material. It's very bad for you, and it's telling your body process sugar now. It's a diuretic, and so it just keeps making your body expend energy.
You're dehydrating yourself.
And exactly.
So much sodium in it too.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking with your circulation. It's fucking with your heart. It's fucking with your serotonin levels. People who are dependent on caffeine have like really, really spotty. Imagine like that hotel Wi-Fi that Crystal is in. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's like that becomes your brain trying to send happy juice to each other. They don't fucking. It's like spotty ass Wi-Fi up there. So it's like caffeine, man. You just if you use caffeine to push through when you're already tired, like 1 or 2 cups of coffee, that's fine. Everything in moderation, right?
If you need that every day to like wake up and function, that is not good. I had to kick that habit hard.
Cold water will do it.
Yeah.
Cold water in the morning. That's what does it for me.
Oh yeah, with some lemon in it. Helps a lot.
Absolutely.
It's definitely been one of those things I've noticed in a lot of different artists, and it's not always the same thing with them, right? Some of them could be like asleep, some of them just don't eat, some of them will stay up for hours on end.
Some of it's all of it.
Sometimes it is all of it.
Ask Aiden, that's me. It's literally some days it's all of it. I've gone, what's my max? About 3 days no sleep.
You went 4 one time. You went 4.
1. Yeah. I started hallucinating. That was insane.
We've both been there.
Yep.
Yeah, you can ask Riot about some of the shit that I've pulled when I was working on comms or feeling really behind. Just it's almost like going on a fucking bender. That's what it feels like. It's like you're in this hyper manic but also super self-critical state I wouldn't call it hypermanic.
Because
Then.
you need to get your work done, and you're like, you're looking for that miracle cure that's gonna make your hands work, and you don't realize that it's literally just taking that effing day off, getting
It's
that good night's sleep,
yeah.
and eating.
It's literally putting fucking protein and good carbohydrates in your body. It's drinking a fucking glass of water. It's
Taking
getting
some
up,
vitamin B.
taking a fucking walk. Jesus Christ! Like getting up and walking somewhere. You know, that old fucking Christmas movie. The whole put one foot in front of the other. Right? Like literally, it's like. Sometimes you just got to force yourself to get up and take a fucking break for 15 minutes so you can spare yourself hours, if not days, of getting fucking nowhere.
Oh yeah.
I don't do digital art, but one of the things I do, I paint miniatures, right? Because I play a lot of Warhammer and other things.
Richter.
And
oh yeah, Richter does that. I remember now.
And one of the things that I've noticed happens a few times is like several hours in when I'm painting this like little squad of miniatures that I want to use for the game, I notice my hands will my arms will start to feel like sort of heavy. My hands will have that like really slight shake going on, like it's hard to hold the brush. And I'm like, okay, that's not good. I probably need to go and like eat something because I hadn't eaten anything since I woke up. And it's like 2 in the afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, executive functioning. You love to see it.
Your perception of time goes out the window too when you want to do or need to do something. It's just you blink and it's gone.
It's insane how fast that time goes. And I've experienced it every time. I've had days where I start at like 10 in the morning, right? And then, I'm getting done. I've had like 5 models painted the way I want them to. They look really good. And then I look up, I check the time, and suddenly it's like 11:30, 12:30 in the morning.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck happened? I have lost hours of sleep on like
day gone
work nights because of this.
And then you get in your head like, I just wasted my whole day. I just squandered my whole day on and then it's like, and you don't even realize it was like, but all that time was spent on the stuff that I wanted to do. It's like,
but you didn't get the result you wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
all
only...
you can think about is you're not done. I should have been done with this. It's like, no, it's taking as long as it's taken.
Yep.
My adorable little dog barking in the background at nothing, probably.
On the upside, we didn't hear it. Also, Ark, Andrew or Ark, what do you prefer?
Take your pick. Most people go with Ark because it's it's one syllable as opposed to 2 with Andrew. Okay.
Well, Ark, to make you feel a little better, I'm 26, so you're not you're not in the presence of babies.
The days of being 26. I miss those days.
Shut the fuck up. I constantly feel like my body is breaking. I'm just like...
Yeah, it's
life ends at 18 when you're a fucking millennial.
Yeah, it's how do I put it? It's become a very weird experience for me to realize, wow, time keeps going by faster and faster every day. Like, what the hell is going on?
You gotta keep doing like weird, random, chaotic shit.
Absolutely.
Probably. I've been very it's only been in the last couple of years, especially because of the pandemic. Like, I've been living on a very simple routine of work, go home, play video game, then sleep. And it's because of the pandemic, fucking with everything. It's the reason I have gotten into voice acting. I've gotten into the artist community. I've gotten into doing this podcast. All of it because of the pandemic giving me that extra time. I'm like,
Yep. That's with me in voice acting too, right here. I get you.
It's weird. And granted, me getting into Has-Been was not because of the pandemic. I actually only discovered Has-Been because it was in the days where I'm like, my brother, one of them anyway, got me this job that I have now. And in the days applying for it and like talking with management, because they wanted to hire me, but there were some weird things going on that took a little longer than we wanted to. I got hired shortly before my birthday in early March. So in those days leading up to it, I think it was about like late February, so well after Has-Been came out. Up to that point, I'd been seeing YouTube constantly recommending Has-Been. I'm going, oh, fuck it, I'll check it out later. And then one day I got so bored sitting at home, playing my games, watching YouTube, I go, fuck, fine, I'll check it out if it'll shut you up. And I did, and I'm
Mhm.
like, hearing the singing in the very opening seconds of it, I go, oh, fuck, it's gonna be one of those shows. And then immediate scene following the opening musical bit is a demon getting splattered all over the road by a car, and then this very effeminate looking guy with a voice I was not expecting talking about getting quite recently nailed and discussing more business, and I'm going, oh, this is not a kid show. And then
Nope.
afterward I get into the fandom. I'm like, okay, I want to find people to brainstorm ideas for my own OC, of which Aiden did the first ever art. Thank you again, Aiden. That spiraled into me doing the Insanimators and this show and voice acting because of because of the Insanimators. Now, it's been a very strange experience,
Mhm.
given a lot of the people I have been involved with, good and bad. It's one of those weird things that I never expected to have met the people that I did. That, I'll be honest, I had forgotten what led me to this point to begin with. ADHD is
Pandemic. Okay, here's the
yes.
beautiful thing about ADHD. You have to build up to your point like a game of Tetris, and then when you finally
Absolutely.
get that last little nonsense point in, the wall disappears, and you're like, that's what I was talking
Yeah.
about.
The pandemic just made so much time for it.
Oh, it did.
And it was like, it's one of those really fucked things you wish didn't happen, but at the same time, I'm like, well, what else would I have been doing?
Right.
And
Right, exactly.
it's like,
Well, and that's the creative mindset right there. It's that little voice in the back of your head that bids you do something. Like that's what it is. Like that's what makes learning how to not end yourself, just in service of your, vision, if I want to be fucking esoteric and what the fuck, pretentious about it, but like you learn how to, that's what makes learning how to like take a break worthwhile, because that voice in the back of your head is that creativity that's driving everything, but it's also something that needs to be regulated, lest it kind of fucking, it defeats the whole purpose of being creative in the first place, because you never get around to building the foundation that you need to stay creative.
I would tell you, being bored is one of the, like, for me, being bored is worse than being overworked.
It is.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, yeah.
Absolutely.
I would rather be like annoyed and exhausted from doing more work than I was expecting than sitting around, figuratively speaking, playing with my dick, trying to figure out what to do. It happens at
When you
work
have
every now
Aiden
and
there
then.
to do it for you. Kidding.
Opportunities.
I was not expecting that. But yeah, it's
we're moving on up.
I'm a wingman.
Again, this is one of those episodes I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm gonna die. I better have my grave already dug. Oh, shit, I didn't do that. Oh, well, I guess
You
I'll
hear
just
the
rot in the sun.
coyote noises? You hear the coyote noises coming from us as like everything is silhouetted but our eyes, we're looking at you hungrily.
Fuck. The eyes of Eris and... do you have a name for your goo girl?
They just go by Riot.
Just Riot?
They just go by Riot. Yep.
I just imagine myself sitting here in my room as it gets darker the later we go into this, and then the eyes of Eris and Riot just glowing behind me, and then the glows of their smiles just showing up.
yeah.
And
It's just Cheshire Cat style, yeah.
I'm sitting there in cold sweats going, fuck, why did I do this?
I'm gonna like pull down a pair of shades that are super reflective for some reason and push them up onto the bridge of my nose like some kind of anime villain and just just staring you down, yeah.
I still remember you and I smoking at the park, Aiden, and
Mm-hmm.
I shared the picture with the rest of the Insanimers, and Mason's first response is just pull his gun, then bug eye glasses, hand him over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I had when I was wearing those same shades, I was walking down Venice Beach, and some person, I don't remember if they were homeless or not, just looks at me and they're like, "Hey you with the oculars." I was like, "What?" It's like, yo, you, I want to be around you. Yo, I want to be around you. And I'm just like smiling, nod, like waving him. And I'm like, I appreciate it, man. You got any money?
They accosted you so pleasantly when I went to New York. I went to go see Alex Brightman again, second time seeing Beetlejuice. I went to New York. I'm in there, a black velvet dress. I've got purple hair. That was my mistake. I could not walk down the strip of Times Square without somebody trying to proposition me. I shit you not. We had to run into the CVS. I had my roommate there with me. I was in contact with Aiden the whole time. I had this one dude. It was a group, but he in particular came out of this group. He was following me around. He goes, I know her. She's a porn star. I've seen her shit. Hey, sweetie, come here. And I was like, no. And the worst part is, I did used to work for Pornhub, but I doubt he's seen my videos.
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
What
was I holding on for?
I thought that shit would have ended in the last decade especially in New York, but apparently
it's
not.
worse.
It's worse. It's worse. It's gotten way worse.
Fuck.
LA's the same way. Yeah.
Still smells like piss too.
Absolutely.
We went to go buy a t-shirt. Couldn't even buy my I Heart New York t-shirt. The guy was like perfectly normal millennial. We buy our fucking shirts. We Venmo him the money, and he goes, "Can I interest you ladies in some drugs?" And my roommate and I are like, "Of course." He was so normal until that very last line. Yeah. Oh, one more great one. This dude was following us up the street, and we're trying to power walk. Right? I'm in heels. We're power walking. This is what I get for being a bitch in Times Square with purple hair and pronouns. But yeah. So we're power walking. This dude's like, hey, I swear to God, the word hey gives me trauma at this point. Hey, you, can you talk to me, sweetie? I was like, no, thank you. He's like, do you want to come back with me? No, that's okay. And then he like throws his arms open. He's like, do you got a boyfriend? I was like, yes. And then he was like, but will you still come back with me? I was like, no. And so again, his arms are open. We are like 4 feet from the door of the CVS. We're about to book it in. He goes, but I love fat asses. My roommate grabs my arm so hard, I thought I was going to bruise. And all I can hear is Kai just going,
Is he trying to hold back laughter?
He was dying of laughter. This dude propositioned me when I told him no politely. He's like, but I love fat asses. Like, that was gonna win me over. That was his last effort.
That was his trump card right there.
Was he shouting this shit from across the fucking strip?
He was shouting this from 5 feet behind us because he was following us.
Oh my god.
Never, if you have any kind of ash, don't wear leggings on a main public area. Just don't do it.
Joke's on you, I didn't even wear leggings. I had a fucking mini dress on, which was even worse.
Right. I mean, yeah,
I was asking for it.
Thank you. Yeah. You were, let's victim blame together.
I am amazed, honestly. Like, I know people like that exist, but like so openly in New York.
It was such a stereotypical thing, too. My roommate had never been there. He's from, like, small-town Louisiana. He could not fucking take it. He was laughing at me, and he would not shut up about it the whole fucking time. We walked back to the hotel room. Are you a porn star? Yeah, I know you. You're a porn star. But I love fat asses. I was like, guys, shut the fuck up.
Oh, my God.
They come up to you when you're sitting. They're like, can I interest you in some weed? You want some LSD, ladies? The one dude came up, and he was like, you got an Instagram? No. I was lying, obviously.
Right.
But he didn't need to know that. You got an Instagram? No. Oh, really? You should. Can I take your picture? No, that's okay. You want a back rub? No!
God damn.
I wish I was fronting on this. This was only this was April. This was
April.
Dude,
I don't even have a fucking Instagram.
Just this April, yeah.
Stop trying to read me the end user license agreement. I don't have an Instagram.
Are you sure you want to uninstall?
Christ. Holy crap.
Yeah. We'll miss you. Are you sure you want to uninstall? Yeah.
The cops did nothing. We were sitting by these cop cars, like right next to the cops, and the cops just completely ignored this dude's offering us like any kind of drug you could possibly imagine.
Fuck. Good Lord. I am amazed. And it's like, I've been to LA quite a few times actually in the last like year and a half. Yeah, because like I was when I was talking about smoking with Aiden in the park. That was my first time in what was that 2021?
I think it was 2021. Yeah.
First time smoking or first time in LA?
First time in LA in like 5-6 years, I think. Because the last time I had ever gone before then was a fucking Magic the Gathering Grand Prix. Like it's like a convention / tournament thing.
All right,
that was at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. And I think that was 2016 or 2017. I don't remember which. But then
So tell us how you got into digital art.
Not yet.
Proceed.
But yeah, I initially went because I'm like, this is the first time I'm getting a paid vacation. Fuck it.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll just do that around this voice acting workout in Santa Monica. And I decided one of those days, you know what? I'm just going to hit Aiden up and, see if he wants to hang out. And we did. For a few hours, he took me right. What was the name of that fucking like dockside community that you want? Something Bay, I think.
We went to I think it's called Balboa Island.
Yes, Balboa Island. It was.
We went to we went to the South Coast Plaza, and then we shimmied our asses over to Balboa Island, and then we stopped at a park, and I gave him a Rocky cigar. It was a pretty nice one, yeah. So
is that a thing that you do behind the 7-Eleven, or is that?
I was about to say that sounds like a very discreet, maneuver you're supposed to be pulling somewhere.
Absolutely.
He gave you a Rocky cigar. When do I get my Rocky cigar?
You get it whenever you want.
I am scared to imagine what that's supposed to describe. Like,
keep using your noodle. You'll get there eventually.
Maybe that's how you'll break into 2D art. It'll just haunt you so bad you'll have to try. You'll be the next biggest NSFW artist.
Exactly. You're looking at him, guys.
Trauma. It was definitely fun because like things that Aiden had shared with me up to that point of like his own past. Like Aiden and I a long time ago did this like it's supposed to be sort of a podcast thing. We basically did a true crime podcast style thing about Gianni Versace and his killing. That was in I think it was 97, I believe, if I recall correctly.
Yep. 1997. Yep.
And we're still trying to figure out what we're gonna do next. We have an idea we know what we're gonna do, but we don't know when.
I love true crime. I have seen literally about any show.
Do you listen to the last podcast on the left?
Oh my god, they named it after that fucking horror movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that podcast. The Last House on the Left was an old horror movie, and honestly, that is the only horror movie that has ever traumatized me. It's a bunch of it's bad. It's a bad movie. Anyway, cheesy now, I'm sure, but when I was younger, oof.
Yeah, they still put out a lot of new episodes. I think they're starting to get close to their 500th episode.
Oh my god!
And they're usually weekly, and they've done a lot. They've done like six. They've done a 6-part episode, or they've done a 6-episode. Fuck.
Take 2.
They've done a 6-episode series on JFK, including the man himself, his murderer, the guy who killed the murderer, and a lot of the really what they believe was the actual story that happened, which is not what you're expecting, by the way. It is really fucking wild, and nobody will care.
I had a history teacher who loved conspiracy theories on JFK, so I gotcha.
And they dedicated a whole episode to the really fucking wild conspiracy theories around the whole thing. I'm like, God, what the hell is this shit that they're describing? It's like, it legit sounds to me like something you would only think of on an LSD.
I mean,
so yeah, they've done.
You don't know their process.
I don't know, and
you're not here to judge artists. You're here to shut up and listen.
They all lived in New York at one point.
Aren't you asking the question?
You know what? They were on LSD.
Yeah, they all lived in they all lived in New York at one point. Henry, for the longest time, then lived in LA because he's part of Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell. And then Ben just moved over there recently. I think Michael still lives in New York. But, given, both of those cities and what we know of them both, I'm pretty sure LSD or acid or something has been involved at some point. I don't know. I can't speak for them.
Everybody
if you ask Joe Rogan, there was definitely some LSD or acid involved at some point in almost everything. So, I mean, I don't doubt you,
But yeah, it's both of those. I've not been to New York. I eventually will. But I've been to LA quite a lot, mostly for the voice acting thing. And it's funny that you described New York as smelling like piss because our mutual friend Cuppy, um, she was in LA with her partner Areg for the Has Been premiere, and the one thing that she always says about LA, every time she describes it, she says it always smelled like piss everywhere she went.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going, where the hell were you going? Because I don't remember that part at all. And I've been, all the way down Figueroa Street. I have been around Burbank. I've stayed on Venice Beach that one week that I was there, the first time around. I'm like,
I'm so sorry.
The only time I remember smelling piss, legit, was my first time. When I said I was there in 2016 or 17, we drove there to an Airbnb. Turns out the guy didn't have the legal authority to rent us the room, so he had to give us our money back. We had to find another place then and there. And we found a fucking motor lodge, like, I think it was about a half mile away from the Staples Center. And
there you go.
Yeah.
That is piss central right there.
Well, that's the thing.
That whole district's into water sports. Like, you cannot escape it.
It wasn't the motor
Jesus
lodge
Christ.
itself that smelled like piss. There was a specific point in front of this like apartment complex that we walked by every day because I wasn't going to be burning the gas to get there. I was already short on the gas money as it was. We walked with our bags full of our magic cards, and they were sort of heavy, and we walked by this apartment complex every time, and around this mailbox in front of it always smelled like piss, crap, or vomit.
Yep.
Or so, it was always some combination of the three. And I'm like, oh God, that is nasty.
It's an unmarked porta potty.
Well, that's because that is literally just because the homeless people like have to go in there. They like I'm saying this because of Columbus, Ohio. If you go through parking garages, because there's not a lot of help like in the homeless shelters like there should be. And so, some people, they just have to go in the garages. Like, you will find human feces going up the stairs.
That would explain a lot, especially as of late with LA. Like, Jesus. It's because when I went in 16 or 17, there was a few homeless tents in the underpass, right alongside the Staples Center. I remember seeing quite a few of them. We walked past them. Nobody bothered us. And then I, stay in Venice Beach for that week. And I think it was my first night there, or no, yeah, my first like actual night there. I went up to a rooftop lounge at a hotel across the street from where I stayed, and I was staying like on the beach, right? Like I could just walk across this little shopping like courtyard, and I'm on the sand. I go to that rooftop lounge. I have a Blue Hawaiian, and then I pay my tab, and I decide, you know what? I'm just gonna walk down Venice Beach, a good mile, I think. This was at 10 at night. And the whole way you see homeless tents.
Yeah.
And most people would think, nobody accosted you? No. Nobody bothered me once.
No, they just want to be left alone.
That's the thing that I came to. That's the conclusion I came to. They don't want to be bothered, and they'll leave you alone.
No. And yeah, I mean, Venice Beach is, that's an acid trip. But, but, I mean, and that's, I think any big city you go to, you're gonna kind of find that. It's just like people who aren't in a good spot most of the time. They don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, just remember to be compassionate. Usually the only ones who try to bother you are the ones who are like, who have an active addiction problem or like, stuff like that. And they're still people. So
Absolutely.
That's definitely one of the big things I've been trying to like. That's one of the big points I've been hammering home every time I do these episodes is, these people we deal with are still people, whether they're the big celebrity we follow or the fans that follow them. Definitely, I'm sure I'm gonna try to tie this back into doing illustrations and digital art. How often do you find like it's gonna be a sort of a second 2-question thing.
Sure.
How often do you find yourself like doing art inspired by something that happened in reality?
Oh my God. A couple of my recent like cherry pieces, event pieces. particularly there was one with like some Vox overtones. Again, I'm gonna bring this back to Hasbin just because Cherry is really easy to draw. And being able to depersonalize when I vent helps a lot. So I try not to vent with Riot as much as possible.
Right.
Even though that's my Sona. It's easier to mask it as like a roleplay thing, and it also keeps people from like looking on my timeline and going, this one's so moody and just bad vibes. Like if it's
Right.
Cherry Bomb, other people will identify with it because they see that and they're like, she feels bad someday too, and so do I. Like anyway, the one in particular I'm talking about is like I have a bad habit of getting like sloppy fucked up when I'm bored and when I'm stressed. And I do that and I go on VR chat and I'm just falling all over myself because I have full body tracking. I make an absolute mess. And it was a couple of people who had brought up to me like, hey, you're starting to veer into like sloppy territory.
Yeah.
And so I vented with that, just having Vox, because I have this stupid headcanon where it's like Vox is actually Cherry's manager, and that's why she's on the news like half dressed because she wants to keep that half of the pentagram. But like, and so I was using that as like Vox is like, okay, yeah, there's a difference between being fun and being sloppy. Like, rein it in, sweetheart.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was event piece right there.
Okay. Yeah, because you did also share this this one of Cherry's like, nice try, I didn't even feel it, and you could see those tears going. I'm like, that's there's something behind that.
Yeah, I had a lot of people who like were really on my back that day. Like, just I hate when people don't communicate to me that there's a problem.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot, but that day I had been lacking sleep. I had been lacking the ability to exist. And I had to play it up as much as possible so that it didn't come off as like bummy as shit on the timeline. That was the day, like, my hands weren't working the way I wanted them to. I was stressed. I was anxious. Like, it just kept hitting. You know, when it rains, it pours.
Right.
Yeah.
It's you know, sometimes you think it's just a trip. You know, oh, I just tripped. Nope, there's a staircase right in front of you. Oh, here we go. Tuck and roll. You know, but you're still gonna get dinged up because it's a fucking staircase. And you know, when you reach the bottom, if you reach the bottom, right, and you know, someone hears commotion, if you got a frown on your face, you know, people are going to be, you know, it introduces a whole other level of shit. And so sometimes it's something kicks in and you're just like, I have to keep it together. Yeah, I just fell all the way down the stairs, but I'm smiling.
Yeah, and
You know?
I have a lot of weird big sister energy, so like I try to keep up. I know I'm like, yeah, I'm a messy hoe. Let's go. But like I have a lot of people who actually depend on me for like that Discord armchair therapy stuff or like need actual help from me on important things. And so, you know, it's hard. And then I can't just be like looking like a crumbling adult on the timeline. But dude, I have anxiety like a motherfucker. Not even fair.
That will kind of go into the other question that I had because like, you know, the old adage of art, it imitates life, you know, type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, at the same time, you kind of like, you know, a lot of people do follow you for your art. But, you know, as we discussed earlier, some people will be kind of weird about their commissions.
Oh, yeah.
And given the examples I've seen from other people who have their commissions and they're, you know, whether they censor out the name or not, they show an interaction with somebody trying to commission them. And it's, some of them are like, when you read it, you realize some of these people are like far more entitled than most people will like accuse millennials of being.
Or utterly tone deaf.
Yeah.
Utterly tone deaf, just no perception of what do you call it? Just completely secular or singularly focused.
Myopic.
Yep.
I think that is I think it's a term. I can't even remember what that word means either. But
single focused.
How often do you find yourself like, whether it's you on the receiving end or somebody you know, like having to deal with somebody just like not even treating you like you're human, like you're there specifically to, you know, give them what they want. they forget your humanity in there?
Oof. Way more than I would like to. Way more than I would like to be a thing. Actually, that was actually one of the things that made me vibe super hard with Cherry Bomb. Once the Addict video dropped, she has this line, and it's so what if I misbehave? It's what everybody craves. There's so much pressure to be a palatable content creator and to be somebody who people find interesting enough to want to commission, and it's hard because it's a big song and dance, and you're just sitting there going, if I fuck up, if I have a bad day and I have a bad day to the wrong person, I'm screwed. So you have to be so careful with how you handle some of them. Like if I do have a bad interaction with a commissioner, you notice I don't usually post that kind of drama on my Twitter. I don't want people to like target that or go, Riot just will be so mean if you go to their DMs. Like I try really hard not to do that.
Yeah.
Unless it's somebody who's dangerous.
Yeah. Something more like the type of person to like internalize that kind of thing and then go to people you personally know and trust with that kind of issue.
And vent. Yeah. I'll softly warn other artists if I see something particularly bad.
Because it's like, I seeing that kind of example with so many other people, it's very upsetting. Because like these are people who having talked about this as many animators as I have, one thing that came across a lot is that animation is a very time-consuming process. Now, art, just from like when Aiden was doing that commission with me, I sat there and he was, drawing it, and before I realized it, I think a good couple of hours had passed by the time you would finish it. And so I'm like,
couple shit. Like it was, I think the total amount that went into that is 6-7 hours, because of the rendering that I did on that. And it's hard to compare drawing to animation because your objective is a little different, and the kind of fidelity that you're going for with each image isn't necessarily as expansive or extensive, with animation per se. Depends on the animation, of course, but imagine a similar process, but over and over and over and over and over again. Like it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, to me, it's like the closest analog I can like compare it to is like cars. You have things like your Toyotas, your Hondas, the mass-produced things, right? Those are all like they're relatively cheap to make and purchase. Those are the kind of things you would see the most often on the road, Chevys and Fords and all that. And then you get like the high-end things, like the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis, the Rolls Royces, Bentleys. I have seen a handful of those in my time of doing valet over the last 3-4 years, and countless BMWs and Mercedes, Hondas and Toyotas and all kinds of other things. It's sort of the similar like thing because when you look at how they're made, all the like really common ones are really easy to put together. All the parts are made elsewhere. They're brought over here and we just assemble them. Piss easy thing to do. Rolls Royces are handmade, every single one.
Yeah.
And
that's why they're so expensive.
Yeah, that's why. So it's like it's sort of the same idea in that animation, they crank out frame after frame, and they don't all have to have like the highest level of like I think the term you used, Aiden, was the right one. Fidelity. There's not as much like super detail in them. They don't all have to look like super shaded and lit up because it's an animation.
They don't have to, but they can.
But that would also like put so much more time into an animation being done. I've seen multiple animators talk about this kind of thing, whereas in illustration, like what you had done for me, that took a lot of like lighting and extra care on the shading and all that. Like even, what Cyco sent me for this thumbnail, the image of Riot just sitting there, that smile on there, and then you look and there's all this like shading gradient going on. Oop, my microphone. all this gradient and shading going on with this, all the lighting, where it is, that I'm guessing this art of Riot probably took, I'm guessing something similar, like 6-7 hours.
I can actually tell you exactly how long that exact piece took if you give me 2 whole seconds. My app that I use actually times it for me.
Oh, that's pretty nifty.
That piece took 5 hours and 49 minutes.
Damn.
Mhm.
So close on that 6-7 hour mark to 6 hours.
Yeah, good cash.
Damn.
Jeez.
It's each, and you have to do that. I'm gonna take that as the average for each one you do, and you open up commissions for like how many slots usually?
No more than 5 if I'm sane, but if you're tight on money, you do what you got to do.
Yeah, but just those 5, say 6 hours each, 30
Yeah.
hours if you try to do them all in a week, and that's if your mind is capable of doing that.
Yep.
And that's assuming that things go relatively well, right?
Yeah.
Like, also with commissions, you need to get a prompt. You're gonna go through your, there's more to it. So really, it's a little more than just however long it takes for you to draw the thing, because you could spend an hour just, if they gave you unclear instructions, for example, you could spend an hour to 2 hours just trying to figure out what the hell you're supposed to do, and you can't move on to the next step unless you have the basics down. So there's other stuff to juggle as well when it comes to commissions. So yeah, I mean, a lot of work goes into it, and a lot of artists undervalue their work as well.
Yeah, or you gotta make that bill, so you gotta undersell your stuff. Period. When I first started art, I made the fatal mistake of making a Patreon before I had really known what all I needed to do with it. Now, mind you, like this didn't incur any kind of like, oh, you didn't. I had opened up a Patreon and I had a $35 a month tier, and for $35 a month, I would do a full body, full color, full shaded piece. That fucked me so bad because that is like what normally you charge upwards 60 for.
Yeah,
like
at least.
Yeah, and I was having to do those for several people on top of taking like regular commissions and stuff, and it was like, oh, that was such a bad move.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you have to take that back, people then they're like assuming that you're being stingy. And this actually brings me back to my last point. No, what you were saying about having to deal with those entitled customers, I think what's worse is having transactional friends. Any creative industry whatsoever, you can't trust anybody. They are so nice to you. They hit you with the, oh, well, wouldn't this be cool? And you want to make friends. So you end up making a lot of gift art. You end up just realizing that they're not there for you. It just sucks.
Yeah.
But then there's some amazing people too.
Mm-hmm. It's one of that's kind of one of those things that become.
It's a blurs.
Sort of like I guess the easiest way for me to describe it is it's one of those things that become like scared of. Like I don't want to like even accidentally fall into being that kind of person where I just want somebody to get onto this show just for them to like bring more views, for instance, or just because they're somebody that a lot of people look at and it would be cool to talk with them. I'm legit trying to learn things about here, but at the same time I'm like, fuck, am I just gonna come off as that like weirdo who's just trying to be friends, like the parasocial relationship thing, basically?
Let me tell you, every parasocial relationship I've had or anything that was parasitic versus symbiotic, it always starts with people hitting you with the superficial, how are you? And as soon as you answer them, they're like, yeah, oh, really? And then they either want to get to talking about themselves, like, so they're asking you how you are so they can talk about themselves faster, or so they can immediately just save face and go right into what they want. Like, hey, did you see this? I think it would be really cool if this happened. By the way, are you doing like?
Yeah, I was talking with somebody on the Has Been project recently, and they do work for someone else's Patreon, and they were saying that there was a fan that they actually had to kick off of the Patreon
Yep,
because they
I
were
know exactly who you're talking about too.
because they were constantly saying like, I want this, I want my OC that I put all this time into to be like have a cameo in the project. And I'm just like, that's not how that's supposed to work, guy. That's
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
that's kind of like the thing that I'm afraid of falling into, because I don't know, maybe I'm paranoid, but I feel like that's something
no,
I
no,
could
no. He's
easily
in the
fall
UK.
into.
You're fine.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like that's like a mindset or a behavior you can easily fall into.
Yeah, it's striking a balance between knowing when knowing how to ask friends for favors, and then also at the same time, not taking those things for granted at the same
Let
time.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, it's so hard to be accidentally transactional. You have to have a
Yeah,
lack of self-awareness to
absolutely.
be that type of parasitic person. Like you either start off like that or you don't fall into that type of thing and just that's you suddenly.
Yeah.
It
So
has to be there.
so it probably is. I'm just being really paranoid about it, but I don't know. I think I'd rather be like excessive caution than like get lax and start to think, oh, it's it'll be
The
okay if
fact that
this.
you're overly cautious answers your question that you are
Yeah,
not one of
absolutely.
those.
It's really is about knowing what it is you want. Like, you know, it- when really what I've learned to do is before I talk to anybody, right? I think to myself, I just think, what do I want out of this? What is it that I'm looking for? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Um and if it isn't either from just a fascination with the person's work and wanting to get to know the person behind the work, um or some kind of thing where I genuinely feel like there's like a common interest or something that is gonna be that's actually gonna kind of glue us together,
Mm-hmm.
then I
Mhm.
just wait until either that develops or I can come up with a better reason. Because if I have that reason to reach out to somebody, typically it goes great. Like that's asking somebody something is never a bad thing to do. You can ask. Just know what you want and realize that that person has every right to say no, no matter what it is you want out of them.
Oh yeah,
You know,
I've had
and
that a few times where people have told me no, and I'm like, okay, that's understandable. Thank you for responding. Especially because
Right.
a lot of
or,
people tend to not. Like the one thing that sticks in me, there is somebody I've been wanting to talk to for a while, but they tend to like they've responded and said, now's not a good time. We can try later. And then I've tried, that later, and then I've just like, oh, I always feel like any
Never a
time
good
is,
time,
yeah,
yeah.
I always feel like any time is too soon to try to do a follow up on that too, because they seem pretty open to it. They're just I know who they are. I get what they're doing, and it's very time consuming work, and that's the main reason. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck, is it like it can be 2-3 months later, and I'll go, is it too soon to ask?
Yeah,
Mhm.
you never want to come off like that's all you're talking to them for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And I'm gonna be real, that's not even as a creator and somebody who like has I have so many nervous people in my DMs are like, I don't want you to think I'm just your friend because of this. That is not usually the first thing that comes to mind unless we see like a recurring pattern of you asking for things. If you say like, hey, how are you and stuff like that, sometimes it just we do need that reminder.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've
Yeah.
I've talked with Dave Captival about parasocial relationship. I got to get back to that, but it's one of the quick thoughts things that I've done where it's
Mhm.
like a Twitter size, like video, like one question response type of thing. And the subject I talked with him on that is parasocial relationships, and I think it was in that he mentioned like it's it does tend to be pretty obvious when you're just after something,
Oh yeah.
and you're talking with people like that. It's like, yeah, I can see it, but at the same time, it's like as an artist, um, I guess I can bring this into another question in that regard. In
Mhm.
that, would you rather have somebody who is like they're kind of meticulous with all the details they want in their commission, as opposed to somebody who's just like really vague about what they want?
Okay, so fun fact, a lot of the commissions that I get are for designs for people who have no idea how they want their character to look. That's actually where I live. Now that's a thing that I have other art friends who are like, I hate that. I just tell me what you want. No, I love vague details. You give me a sticky note with like red hair, dot on face, and this species, and I'm gonna go absolutely batshit nuts with it.
That is yeah, like it angers me, the point to which that is like your bread and butter. It's fucking
I like designing. I like vague concepts in design.
yeah, and
I do recall giving a bullet point list of things to Aiden for the art he did for me of my OC Obsidian, and that okay, here's a few things that I know I need for him. Badger like form, okay. There's a specific sigil that I wanted glowing on his face, and his eyes need to glow the same color, and a leather jacket with 6 dog tags. And
Okay.
what I was not expecting was for him to do this art of Obsidian wearing the leather jacket but no shirt underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not expecting that, but that looks better than I would have ever imagined it to.
Yeah, you get that little flair for the artist. God, when you see like those, I I like to call them hand-me-downs. Like the drip on Riot's eye was something that an art friend of mine that I looked up to really heavily, they would make their characters' pupils drip for the longest time, and they stopped doing that. And I always loved it, and I never stopped loving it because it gave this like weird, almost obsessive, like it comes off as either like manic, obsessive, sad, horny, depending on how you deliver that drip going past the eyelash line. And I said to them, I was like, can I use this? And they said, yeah. And that's been a thing that I put on my Sona since then and on certain characters. So there are little things that the artist will give you that are little monikers for themselves. When I do certain things to characters, there are little like design details I'll add that are really specific to my style.
Right.
And those are just hand-me-downs, and then that becomes a part of that person's OC, and then the next artist will add something else, and it's just so cool when that happens.
Yeah, and like on the other side of that same coin, there's the people that have a whole list of details they want. Like,
Oh god,
my
yeah.
my girlfriend made a lot of money off of somebody commissioning her for the most of what they've commissioned has been either Verosica or Miss Heed.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, from Villainous. But
Yep.
the thing that always like fucks us over in regards to like trying to understand these commissions, every single one that this person has commissioned my girlfriend for always involves a basketball or a beach ball.
That's just their motif.
It always threw us off. Like, what is it supposed to do? What is it supposed to like represent? Or like, is it we a couple of us in this group are still convinced that it's a fetish thing.
Could be.
We have
yeah,
no clue.
it could be. You will never know.
We don't. It's weird, and the fact that they have commissioned her so many times. Like I'm putting an example. This is some of the in the chat. These are some of the things that my girlfriend has done for this person.
Looking.
It is.
I guess they just really like the way she draws balls.
Damn it, Aiden.
Her ball game's strong. I don't know
I'm
what to
gonna
tell
throw
you.
a fucking ball at your head.
They're
Oh,
so
really?
round
More
and
pain?
shiny.
Haven't you learned your lesson?
Look, I'm giving your girlfriend a follow. Rockin' art.
Luigi.
Followed.
I didn't think that Luigi was watching this chat.
Ruh-roh.
She's just like, no, I'm
Oh,
not the ball guy.
no. It's the ball guy.
But yeah,
Plot
it's
twist. I'm the ball guy.
this every time that this guy has commissioned my girlfriend for these arts, it has always been very specific, right? Like I want them, having this kind of expression, like this eye's closed in a wink. They should be holding the ball here with their hands in this position, and standing or sitting like this, things like that. It is like a very detailed list of how they want the art to look. And I go, damn.
You get your compulsive clients like that, and I've had clients like that who they'll give me full creative control, and then they'll be like, can I see how it looks with this? Can you add this? Can I see with this? And I am really, really lenient with the amount of revisions I allow per commissioner. Don't abuse that. I will find you.
It's me. I am found. I remember putting together Coney. I felt so annoying when we.
Oh yeah, I helped you with the color. You were like, "Can I see what it looks like with this shade?" I was like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Eventually, you just gave me the sketch, and it was like, "Okay, that's fair."
Right.
It's because how many color combinations had I done? At least 10 of them, and then I was like, "I need to go."
Yeah, it was like, I'm an indecisive hoe. I've never pretended to have it all together. So forgive me. Have grace.
You're fine. For now.
For now. Oh boy, uncertainty.
But
I'm into it.
I'm gonna circle back around a little bit to when we were talking about commissions taking hours long to do one piece for somebody. As I said, taking the one that I said the one of Riot, I believe would take about 6 hours, and you do 5 of those, try to knock them out in a week, about 30 hours in that week. But
36 to be precise. Yeah,
that is not considering the fact that the person doing the art may or may not have a job during the week.
A life, a job.
Yeah, so
maybe they're sick. Like, I know a lot of artists who have a lot of chronic pain where they can only draw like 2-3 hours a day to get their stuff done because just looking at that tablet hurts them.
Repetitive strain injuries are
real,
pretty common.
Yeah,
there's
the one friend group that I'm a part of. There's another artist in there. If you've ever heard of Glitchy Bits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've seen Glitchy doing, like, they've done their video camera while they were in a Discord call, and they've also had their art stream going. And I've seen a few times where Glitchy just gets up and starts doing a few like stretches, and I go, not a lot of people do that nowadays. I remember Apple was I used to be a temp for them a number of years back, and I was on their computers all the time working in their shipping department. And they always told you, make sure you do stretches, make sure you have like your hands positioned at this angle, when you're sitting at the desk, chair should be this height and all that. And Glitchy just gets up and does stretches. I'm like, how many people are remembering to do that on a regular enough basis?
I sure ain't.
Yeah, it's a very, like, to me, with those experiences in mind, I go, that should be a common sense thing. And then I start to think and I go, I never do that when I'm doing my fucking miniature painting.
Nope.
You
don't want to stop.
Yeah, you don't. Yep. You want to get that done because you're like, okay, this looks good. And then you want to get that one detail done. Then you look at another part of it and you go, oh, I should probably take care of that before I go and, get my, cold pizza waiting for me.
Yeah, no, it's true. You get into a groove and you're afraid you're going to lose that momentum, and it's that anxiety.
Yeah, it's and speaking of getting the cold pizza, I have played Pong with myself as the ball between my desk and the microwave many a time. Like,
oh, your tea's been cold and reheated 10 times?
Yes, 10 times. It's like, go, oh, I have tea in the microwave, take it out. This bitch cold, put it back in, go back. 15 minutes later, come back. Oh, this bitch cold again. All right, let's start over.
I've done that with my coffee.
Right, I had coffee, I had tea.
Oh my god.
I had dreams once.
Aspirations, goals.
Okay, it's it's June 19th. I'll get started here at 10 in the morning. Why is it suddenly June 22nd?
Right, exactly.
June 22nd, that's generous. You're like, it's September of the next year. Where did I go wrong?
And you realize this is still on this one piece.
Yeah, let me just go to the bathroom.
God,
Oh,
yeah.
my grandson is graduating high school. Okay.
When did I get
Wait,
married?
I have kids? Yeah, what the...
Oh my god.
Looks like someone kept their promise to drop a baby in me, I guess. I guess
Right.
that's what happened.
It'll happen someday, baby. I promise.
It'll happen someday.
And this will kind of be one of the last questions before I get to the sort of the closing thing I usually do. We mentioned how the audience will, at least some parts of them at times, or maybe all the time, situational. The audience may forget that the person they're following is a person. They have their own things they're trying to do. They have their own things to keep up with, their own thoughts, emotions, feelings, and all that. Has there ever been times where you feel you have forgotten that they also are people? Like, oh crap, it's like your commissioners, for instance. Do you feel like it's easy to forget, oh right, they're people as well. They have their own things to try to keep up with, and they're kind of like, oh god, they're waiting on me to finish this commission for whatever reason.
I get so nervous about other people's like perception of me, especially since there are quite a few times where I do have to take a long time on slots. So I tell you, like, if you have a deadline, you better tell me from the get-go. I like if you give me a deadline, you'll have it. But if you don't, I'm gonna take my sweet ass time, because if I'm not feeling that piece, I hate giving people garbage.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I won't give them something if I'm not satisfied with it. But I less so have an issue with that, as much as, like, since I've been doing more like public voice acting stuff, I have people who come up to me who don't quite act like people. And there are times where, like, you're tempted to snap at them. And it's the same hat for art. Particularly since, like, Sure to Drown with Paranoid DJ came out. Whenever I hang out in like online spaces, people will follow you around and they're just being friendly, but sometimes it just comes off in such an offensive manner, or they are very tone deaf behavior wise, and you have to really pull back, because you're like, one, this isn't about you. Like, it's about you, but they're not doing this to you. They're just existing.
Right.
I mean, this is a hard question for me. You can ask Aiden. I'm one of the weirdest, most psychologically pragmatic people I know. Like, I'll be able to dissect somebody's behavior real fast. And so I don't usually have issues with, like, forgetting people's humanity when it comes to behavioral quirks. I just kind of look at them and I go, you are irritating me, but I know why, so I just kind of bite my tongue.
Right, exactly. And it's like, again, it's there is a certain struggle, and I mean, again, I know we keep referring to each other, but like there's a sense to where it's like your awareness and your desire to be somewhat in control of other people's awareness of you crash headlong into each other, just fucking evaporate against each other, and you just you kind of shut down, and you're like, and it doesn't matter how long you've known a person or things like that, you feel like things are so fickle all the time, especially in these virtual spaces. And it's like you have to, like, sometimes, just to relate it to this situation, sometimes there's like periods where me and Riot don't talk as much, for example. And it's not hard to convince yourself in those moments that like, oh, that's it. I've lost interest, or they've lost interest, or blah, 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 blah. But really what it ends up being is, maybe I'm just busy. Maybe they're just busy. And like, then when things come full circle around again, it's like everything's great and fine. And, it's like you through those kinds of cycles, you start to learn, okay, what are like the signs that someone's busy? What are the signs that someone is, this or that? And that's really how you kind of learn. And it's like you're constantly so okay, here's the point. I fucking found it. Here we go. ADHD brain
He
will
got
not
there.
get one over on me. Here we go. I'm topping tonight. So we you know, like
Christmas miracle.
it is. It really is. I'm not under the tree anymore. We when help me. No, so because really when you're concerned about other people's perception of you, right? And you don't want them to perceive you in a way that you don't feel rings true to yourself. You have to be constantly aware of that other person's humanity in order to, you know, even adjust your behavior, right? Every behavior adjustment you make to facilitate a friendship, to facilitate a connection, whatever your goal is, every behavior change you do, if it's going to serve you well, has to come from an awareness and a respect for people's humanity. So I feel like specifically when it comes to, I think that we're similar in this way, Riot. It's acknowledging humanity is important. Do we always act cordially or kind or civil? Not always. But that awareness, I think, you know, even in those moments where I'm being cold or mean,
the empathy comes back eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. It always either swings right back in or I have it in that moment, but I feel like, you know, there's something else that is more pressing to me in that moment, and I'm prioritizing that in that moment, as opposed to, you know, I'm not relegating them to non-humanity. It's just right now, you know,
you've taken what you can take, and you need
absolutely
you need your space. Yeah,
you always got to acknowledge your own limits, otherwise you're just gonna run yourself into the ground.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You got to be careful of doppelgangers too, because every little thing that you do, another person makes an impression of you in their head, and whatever impression they have of you is what they're going to relay to other people. So I try real hard to be good on first impressions, at least to the point where, you know, people aren't like, "Oh, what a cunt."
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Aiden really did a number on this guy.
I really did.
Look,
I'm proud of me.
Look, he needs to handle things a little more gently, because things need to last.
He's in it for a good time, not a long time.
Did you hear my fucking lip slack? My fucking lip smack. Right? I was like,
I could feel it. I took psychic damage from that.
Yeah. Can you say that again, Ark? I didn't hear you the first time.
Anyway.
Hand check.
So, we're gonna
Can I
get
get
to...
a please with that, gentler? No, it's okay. Continue.
I'm going to use the gag you don't like, Aiden.
Which gag do I not like? This is news to me. Which one do I not like?
So anyway, we got actual questions from the audience we're gonna get through real
Oh
quick.
yeah, change the subject. Okay, change the subject. I see. I get you.
Hit me with them.
Philly, here's like my digestive strife went down.
We still have the Q&A to get through. I ain't done doing my number on anybody.
Wow, and this whole time I finished a little sketch. Hold on, I'll drop it in the chat.
You
for
did it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Where is it?
Do you want me to share it on the stream?
It's another cherry bomb win because I'm doing warm-ups. So
Looks
it's
like
up
I'm
to
the
you.
last one standing again, Riot. I haven't finished
It's
anything.
safe for work.
I'll share.
And you never will.
I'll share it if you're alright with it.
God damn
Yeah,
it,
I'm fine
you're
with
right.
that. She's a speedy girl.
Let me move that over here. Actually, because I don't need people to develop anxiety from the amount of tabs that I have open on my fucking computer. But
Like a warm-up sketch.
yes,
Wake
while
the
we do
hands
that,
up.
the questions we've got. This happened while Mama Luigi took notice of my posting of the ball guy with Veronica and Miss Heat earlier. Dropped into chat, pretended to be evil. Nice try, Luigi. I know better. Somebody asked while Mama Luigi was in there and asked, "So what is the best breakfast?" Luigi promptly responded with cereal. Next question.
Damn.
Jackster asks, "Are hot dogs sandwiches or tacos?" I guess this counts as an important opinion.
Neither, and you should feel bad.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
Let's just say it. They don't call it sandwiching and they don't call it tacoing. I'm just gonna say that. I don't need to go any further. I think I've laid the foundation well enough for you to fill in the gap.
Those might be maneuvers that are completely different things.
But they're food related.
And then Philly responds to Mama Luigi with, "What is the best cereal?" Which we do get as an actual question later. What's the best cereal?
Fucking Cinnamon Toast Crunch. No, the French Toast Crunch. The old one that was like little mini toasts, you know, the little toasts. Those fucking smacked, dude.
I don't remember this one.
They do. I was
French
thinking Lucky
Toast
Charms,
Crunch.
but
Google it now.
those are very good though. No, I know what you're talking about. I didn't remember those existed.
Who's talking to you? I want the one who doesn't know they exist to look them up.
Why don't I remember this being a thing? I have them up right now.
Yeah, they existed.
What the hell?
They were real.
And they don't make them anymore, do they?
Not really, no. I see them like once every few years.
I see them on Amazon right now for $4.
Wink. Go on.
French Toast Crunch breakfast cereal, crispy sweetened corn cereal, 17.4 ounce, family size cereal box, $4. Add to cart or buy now.
It's not Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but by God, they were the most perfect little pieces of bread. They just looked so pristine.
What the hell?
I'm gonna go on Amazon after I get off stream.
Me too. I'm like salivating over here.
Okay.
For pure reasons this time. For pure reasons.
All right. And so after that, so this is actually going to come into what we've been wanting to get to. Jaxer asks, what projects have you been the most excited about that you have done or are currently working on or soon will be, and why?
Okay, so the projects that I've been the most excited about is I'm in a game that's coming out. It's an interactive novel called Gaikukuji no Sensei. And I got to play a couple characters in that. I actually got an IMDb page from that. So that's still in the works. That will be, I believe, up on Steam. It's already been funded. We had a couple of VAs who couldn't fulfill their roles, so we've had to basically just fill in for that, which delayed the game. But then there's another one coming out by the same creator, and I'm going to be auditioning for a role in that. And then one of my favorite things that I've been working on have been Sure to Drown with Paranoid DJ, because I got to not only sing and voice act for Charlie in that, but I got to help write her part in that song, which was one of the crucial lines in it. It was a callback to another song, and I'll leave it at that. That was so fun to write, and then doing the House of Leaves read was a really great portfolio piece. He's an amazing sound designer. And okay, so here's the big fancy exciting part. We have another song that's coming out for another character. It is an original song, and we have a voice actor, like an actual voice actor, on the track for this song, as well as I don't know if I should phrase it as well as a really good artist and a really good animator for something in it. So that's coming out. We don't have a deadline, but we really want it out by July.
Okay, and this is,
so
I'm assuming this is going to come up under Paranoid DJ's channel? I do not have an active channel myself. It is going to come up under his channel, but it will be on my Spotify as well, which is now live. Cool. Yeah, I have officially got the blue check mark on Spotify. Yeehaw! Is that also Cycoriot, CYCO Riot on Spotify?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
I'll have to look at that.
The voice actor's amazing. They've been amazing to work with, and just getting to work with somebody who's got that much experience under the belt, like Funimation, all of that.
Right.
Could not say enough about them.
Personal question from myself on that. You did lines for Charlie. Was that like an absolute relief for you, given that you've mentioned before that people really associate you with Cherry Bomb in the same way people really associate Angel Dust with Aiden?
Getting to do the Charlie one was a nice little break because she's such an antithesis to how I normally act. I'm such a sloppy ragamuffin hoe. You can quote that. So going from that to Disney princess and then like being able to bounce ideas off of DJ is so freaking fun. So it was a nice change, but man, I Cherry is such a comfort character for me, even though we know like almost nothing about her. I was on Tumblr forever back when Cherry was a completely different character. I think her first name was like Vanilla, and then it was Diza. And then when Addict came out and I saw her ex-boyfriend Izzy come back, I was like, oh shit. Because Viv put out art of Cherry and Izzy. That's the Cyclops guy from Addict, if anybody doesn't remember. He was behind her in the scene.
I never learned
2013. Yeah, his name was Izzy. 2013 was the first time I had seen him, and he was supposed to be like the biggest baddie in the Angels and Demons arc, which was another part of the Zoophobia comic. And just getting to see those characters like moving around was crazy because I had vaguely just kind of seen them on my Tumblr feed. And I was like, oh, rock on. Now it's like, God, you never know.
Right.
Yeah.
So
she's just fun.
A lot of fun coming out with that, with Paranoid DJ. And apparently more people that were, this sounds really exciting, honestly.
Yep. It's, God. I can't even say more. I'm not allowed to, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
I'm looking forward to it. Let's see.
It is gonna be good.
Last couple of them we're gonna be doing here in the interest of time. Wow, I know this. Okay, so Fish is, wow, I know this goo. Tell me, how is it being the best goo in the world?
That's my manager. You know that's bullshit, and I will find you.
That reminds me, I didn't know you had a manager. I'm not one to associate, 2D artists to have a manager.
You need them, and because I knew I was going to be doing stuff with music, and I had already had the acting credit under my belt, yeah, it was for a lot more than just the 2D art. The 2D art is just what I'm most known for right now, but I do a lot more stuff with voice acting off of Twitter that I never really post about.
Right, okay, I didn't think about that part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, he helps me stay on top of my commissions, so I don't do exactly what I was warning the chat about earlier.
These two will be really easy. Vampire or werewolf?
Vampire!
Yep.
Okay, I'm the odd one out because I prefer werewolves.
Well, I love the knot, but I want to be a vampire.
1-800?
Are you nodding?
Yep.
And then fairy or leprechaun?
Fairy.
Yeah.
Again, the outlier here. I go with leprechaun.
God, you're just such a contrarian.
Hellboy tells the same thing. He says the same thing to me. I don't try. This is just where I am.
Okay,
you're doing the opinions version of playing hard to get. God damn it.
Yeah, but why leprechaun? Why though? Specifically, I could get werewolf maybe, but
I don't know. I just find them to be more fun and entertaining than fairies.
Fairies will make you dance until you die. How is that not fun and entertaining?
Awesome. Yeah, no, that doesn't sound fun to me.
What does sound fun to you? I'm about to drop a wicked stereotype if I continue. What sounds fun to you with leprechauns?
Something funny. That's what.
Oh, okay. All right, that's fair. Protect your dignity. Protect your online persona. Coward.
I may also
Shield yourself from this onslaught.
I may also be slightly biased being part Irish myself.
There it is.
Yeah.
And then Ashes after this.
Catch out of the bag.
And then I'll get to Ashes after this this last either or one, but Demons or Eldritch Abomination?
Oh, fuck!
Yeah, it's a hard one.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna defer to you. ¿Por qué no los dos?
one has the constraints of Abrahamic religion, and the other one is just complete chaos.
By the way, Aiden, the question was or,
Eldritch.
not like the question
Rules
is or.
are
You have
meant
to pick,
for breaking.
You have to
Mark.
pick one. That's the rule here.
I don't have to do anything.
Yes, you
Except
do
pay
pick
taxes
one.
and
You're
die.
part of my show, bitch.
Ooh.
Yeah, bitch.
Ooh, talk to me like that more.
You should have known better.
I really should have.
He's gonna be in your DMs at midnight going, "What you doing?
Yeah, what are you up to?
I'm taken,
You
motherfucker.
awake? You awake?" That will never stop him.
I think for me,
Watch out, Luigi.
I think for me, I'm again probably a slight bit of bias, but demons.
There are so many reasons why I could say either, but
Yeah.
because I don't want to, if I'm thinking for myself, I don't want to be under the control of like any bigger entity, and eldritch creatures just are not. So I'm just like, nah, be your own god.
Aiden.
I think there's a part of me that says Eldritch because they just are pure chaos. But
Mhm.
I think, I don't know, I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go with demons too. I don't know. I feel like
I feel like there's a bit of bias in
I have
there.
more of a chance of not just being dead. Period.
Fair
XD. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna have to go with demons
Right.
as well.
But like Pennywise was an eldritch thing, and that it could literally turn into whatever it wanted.
Pennywise
So
was an
like,
alien.
fuck you. It was a fucking ancient space thing. What else do you want from Eldritch?
That's exactly
Yeah,
the
it's-
definition of an alien.
A lot of there's eldritch beings can be aliens. Ark, don't go Warhammer on me right now. It's okay.
I have
You're
Warhammer
okay.
in front of me, but I'm not pinning it. But anyway, Ash Levenstein.
Right.
Fun fact: that is my girlfriend. Also, Ash asks, do you guys ever use Procreate? I use it to draw, and I'm currently looking for some good line art brushes.
I'm using it right now. My most recent pieces have been done on Procreate, so any of those cherry sketches, yeah, I added you on Twitter, so I could always yeet whatever I'm using at you.
Yeah, you gained.
I'm
2
not stingy with
followers at least
sharing my
today.
brushes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And then their more lighthearted question would be, what is your guys' opinions on Stolas's dad? Boy, I didn't think that would be the one to draw silence from everyone.
I'm trying so hard to behave.
Me too.
The first thing out of my mouth is just like, what's his dick look like? What's his dick look like? What's his dick look like? Show me the pee-pee.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally was just thinking, like, my brain was just firing, like, my synapses were just gilf.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I haven't seen any NSFW yet. Who's this?
Yeah, me neither.
What dad?
Yeah. What dad? Yeah, who? Sorry, who are we talking about?
Stolas's dad.
Ars
Yup,
Goetia? More
Heyman.
like Ars Goetia hard out. I ain't answering
Oh
that
my
question.
god. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. It's been a great stream, everybody.
It has. Roll credits.
I think the character's cool.
I'm trying to look
Yeah,
up
he
because
looks cool.
I remember they announced it, but I don't
His
remember.
name is Payman.
Yeah, I knew that part, and it hilariously, Cuppy's response when we all talked about it was that she is having immediate flashbacks to what was the name of it was another A24 film.
That's Hereditary.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I my first thought was, is it because of your nationality? And apparently it was because I don't really know that much about other mythologies. That's what I remember the name Payman being from.
Mhm.
But that's apparently not the case.
Uh-oh.
So I'm just like, I've never heard of this movie, and everybody else has. I'm going, okay, well, I guess this makes sense. I don't follow much. I've never had much time to watch anything Netflix or A24. And it's apparently a thing.
A24 is okay. Hereditary is a good psychological supernatural movie.
Very good.
It hits very different for horror. It that's the best way I can describe it. It definitely hits different for horror.
Mhm.
It's the soundtrack's amazing. It is not your typical horror flick. It's
No.
very, very good.
I mean, even Hellboy said that it's like it's a movie that even he was like, oh god, this is
Yeah,
intense.
it touches on way different things than you would expect from your average like horror movie, even involving like ghosts and demons and shit. You
The
can't
whole-
describe
yeah.
it. You have to see it.
You have to. The whole disconnect that you normally get from supernatural horror is not present in this movie because it comes across the way it makes you feel is so eerily familiar. Like
Yeah.
it's like dark nostalgia. It's like all the
And-
worst parts of like it's
And so liminal at the same time.
yeah, exactly. It's like there's this you're detached. It makes you dissociate, honestly.
It does. It really does.
Do you want to
man.
know what dissociation feels like? Watch Hereditary.
I may need
You
to do
will-
some
yeah.
serious prep to watch this movie if I ever do.
Yeah. I would definitely watch it in a group with friends so that
Yep.
you guys can break up between the scenes because yeah.
Fair enough.
That's it. Yeah. Bottom line, yeah.
And then
Very good movie, though.
I-
I highly recommend it if you're ready for it.
I did also look at the announcement for Paimon. There's like all of 3 frames of his actual form,
Mhm.
and it's kind of intimidating.
Well, you would hope
Mhm.
Stolas' dad, but you'd hope the original recipe would, be
I'm
a little bit spooky.
I look at this and I go,
yeah.
I look at this and I go, I wonder if this guy is just as horny as Stolas is.
Oh god, yeah, it's like who do you get it from, dad or mom?
Yeah, exactly. Ooh.
I
Goodness.
kind of want big scary because Viv loves that like contrasting stuff so much. I kind of hoping the dad is going to be like the super sweet one, and the mom's gonna look really
Yeah.
demure and just be awful.
I don't
That's
know.
what I want.
I've voiced my concern about this, seeing all the new redesigns of the has-been characters. There's a lot more red happening now with these designs, and
That's her favorite color. You knew that was
Well,
gonna happen. Come on.
I know, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. The pilot showed shitloads of red in the background. Is she gonna tone down the red with the background? Because otherwise, I feel like they're just gonna blend in with the background more.
Well, that's also assuming that they keep those outfits every episode of the show too,
True.
because those just look like hotel uniforms. Like Vaggy's new outfit looks like a hotel uniform. Angel's
Mhm.
really just got some.
Gloves.
God, his. I don't even. Everybody's like
blazer's
hyper
different.
focusing on the littlest shit. They're like, "Oh my god, his tit fluff is
Yeah.
gone." No, that's just because Viv drew that up. Like, it's gonna be different every frame. I promise. Just relax.
Yeah.
She had to reassure people the floobs were still there. It's like,
Everybody
Shit.
relax.
yeah. The floobies are not gone.
And then lastly, best Ghibli movie.
I
I feel like this is gonna say a lot about you, depending on what your answer is.
Yeah, I'm curious too, actually. What is your favorite Ghibli movie?
Spirited Away.
Classic.
I
Great
gotta
choice.
watch. That's one I need to actually watch.
If you're asking me too, of course, I never
Mhm.
checked, but for me, it's really hard to pick between Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke was good as
I
heck.
love it.
I know even less about Mononoke than any other Ghibli movie. I've seen a few, and for me, it's always gonna be My Neighbor Totoro, because that was around when I was a child, and
Mhm.
still one of my all-time favorites. It's a very like simple movie, I guess, is a way to describe it.
It's very palatable. Where like, another fucking good one, Howl's Moving Castle.
I just
Howl's
saw
Moving-
that one.
Howl's Moving Castle in the Sky is fucking amazing.
Yep.
Um,
What I was gonna say is Spirited Away is like very unsettling because it touches on aspects of the spirit world. It's got like anthropomorphic river deities, and like it even has like things that verge between like Russian folklore and Japanese.
mhm,
Like Yubaba and Baba Yaga are like
mhm.
So yeah, it just hits really unsettling. And again, like just the ghosts, like no face and shit. I love that.
And then lastly, Ash
Mhm.
asks once again, and I'm going to quote them directly here, because I myself am a simp, what's your opinions on Stryker?
I don't like Stryker. I'm so sorry. I
This is
like
one of-
Patches. I like Fizzerolli, and I like Husk and Izzy. So
I like
fucking
Stryker.
sorry. Shut
I like
up.
Stryker. I do.
This isn't
I
about
do.
you. Shut up.
You know what? You know what? I like Stryker. I just want to say that. That's all
Boo,
I
you
wanna say.
whore.
Yeah. Oh God. Funny how my legs are open all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny how
Wide
you're
open.
about to.
Mhm.
Funny how you're about to be a slime cyclops by injection.
By
Go
fucking
on.
injection. Yeah. Gonna drop a gob in me or something. What's going on? What's the plan?
I'm okay with Stryker. I vibe with him mostly because, you know, given who's asking the question, I'm a little biased in that. But I'm okay with Stryker.
I think he's kind of neat.
I'm okay with Stryker, he said, loading his shotgun. He's alright. I just want to talk to him.
And now, the last question that I have for all of my guests as we close out this episode. Given everything we've talked about, and everything that, you know, happens in life and everything like that, do you have any advice that you feel you want to share with anyone, whether it's in regards to doing art or just life in general or whatever it is you feel you want to share?
Okay. The best thing I can say is my ability to draw wide asses and pretty eyelashes is not what like got me in contact with the people I'm in contact with or the friends that I know. It's literally just been me saying fuck it, why not try when it comes to interacting. Like I put down my ability to be anxious. I will go into anybody's DMs.
Mm-hmm.
Like anybody, it doesn't matter what they do, and I will strike up a conversation with them and just be you, but be aware of, like, try to read the atmosphere. Don't be afraid to lead in with a joke. Don't be afraid to like gauge whether or not you should be professional, but just try. The worst you're gonna get is a no, and if a no makes you anxious, you're gonna feel even worse if you don't find out. So
Right.
yeah, just do it.
I can speak to this quite well in my quest to find guests for the show. It's a nerve-wracking experience, but I'd rather try than not.
Yeah. You don't want to miss out and then wonder what it would have been like. So,
Absolutely.
you know, just go for it. And like, I operate on the whole fortune favors the bold thing. It's worked pretty nice for me so far. And just have fun, be you, and I don't know, above all, do no harm.
I mean, it leads to this chaotic energy I experienced at the start of this episode, before we started, and at parts of this episode. Well, I've got a lot of catching up to do.
You'll be fine. I promise. I'm only, what, 4 years younger than you?
Why do I still squint at you when you say that?
You'll be fine.
Aiden, I think I may need to stay with you for a couple days.
You looking to me for help?
I'm tracking locations
right.
as we speak. Aiden, just keep him in one place for like 30
The closer
minutes.
you
That's all
are
I
to
need.
me, the sooner you're gonna get
The
found.
farther you are from God.
He gave up on me a long time ago.
Oh my god. Oh, Jesus.
I'm a spiritual black hole you'll never escape.
Spiritual black hole.
Mm-hmm.
No comment.
Abandon all faith, ye who enter here.
That's literally the tramp stamp I wanted for years.
Yes!
The inscription above the gates of hell.
Abandoned.
I want to get a word. I need a warning label down the back of my thigh. That would be fucking perfect.
A tramp step of what? Abandoned faith or a black hole?
Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. It's the inscription over the gates of hell in the Divine Comedy.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's fair. Ash, do not encourage, please.
Oh, let me see.
They're like Sin's location
Hell
details.
yeah!
God damn it.
Just tell me where.
Okay,
I'm gonna make sure.
I guess I'm falling off the grid after this episode. I will have to close this episode out now.
Let's-
For
I'm
my own
tracking
safety.
you as we
Carpooling.
speak.
Fuck.
We're carpooling. Let's go.
I'm screwed.
Even pull the car around.
Dad,
Let's
can
do
you make
it.
sure the gun is ready?
I'm
That won't
literally in the
stop
car.
us. Oh, that's cute. He thinks bullets are gonna do any good.
Fuck,
Oh,
that's
is
right.
that pump action? Oh, okay. Curious.
Fuck. That's right. What the hell pellet's gonna do against the fucking thick purple goo girl?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
God damn it.
Oh, that's cute. You literally
Okay.
shoot them in the titty, and they'd be like, "That's adorable."
Okay, I guess
Good
I'm
for you.
I guess I'm on the run now. I gotta go. Thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thanks, everyone.
I've got everybody's Twitters in the description below. Check them out. Also keep an eye on Paranoid DJ's YouTube channel for more. Likely Cyco will be sharing that on their Twitter as well, which again in the description. Follow it. Yeah, I'm gonna hit the highway now and see if I can get away fast enough. You all have a
That's a
wonderful
really
evening.
cute shirt you're wearing, by the way. You should close your curtains.
Fuck. Okay, bye everybody.
Or just take it off. This guy's fucking